Hey guys, how are we doing? So we're doing another video from MathWiz, and I think it's going to be interesting because I found when watching Hunter x Hunter at first, because I love Naruto, huge Naruto fan. It's like, Kurapika, you got a lot of the same stuff going on like Sasuke. Like, you've got the tragic backstory, you got your family being killed, you got you hunting down the people that killed your family, and you got stuff going on with your eyes that makes you a little bit different to everybody else. Does that sound familiar? But then the journey that the characters go on is different. They are different characters. It's just because there's slight similarities. People are like, what was the Hunter x Hunter parody I was watching where it was like Sasuke was in the intro and stuff instead of Kurapika? I think it was it Haha? And fair enough, it's funny to like compare them like that. But when you really get down to it, they're quite different characters. So let's get into this. This is Kurapika versus Sasuke Uchiha. A thematic breakdown.
There's a good reason why Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter is often compared to Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. Both characters have a tragic backstory that involves the slaughtering of their entire clan. Both seek vengeance upon the ones responsible for their clan's massacre. Both become friends with the story's protagonist.
There's a point.
Both have special eyes.
Yes, they do.
The similarities are too glaring to miss. Unfortunately, these comparisons often understate the fundamental differences that set these two characters apart. Not just in terms of their moral code, but in terms of how each world is structured to play into their respective narratives. When Sasuke is introduced, he states that his one goal is to kill a certain man. He hates a lot of things, and he doesn't really care for anything. This blunt response clearly emphasizes Sasuke's one-track mind. He is laser-focused on attaining this one goal.
Definitely.
And he does nothing to distract himself from it. Kurapika's introduction, on the other hand, is much more nuanced. Before we can even learn about his ambition, we already know that Kurapika is cautious and honorable. When asked about why he wants to become a hunter, Kurapika avoids the question by saying, "It's quite simple to avoid pesky questions by offering a plausible lie. However, it is quite shameful to rely upon deceit." From this, we can gather that Kurapika operates by a strong moral code. His hesitation also clues us into his reserved, tactical nature. While Gon happily admits his reason for being there, and Leorio adamantly rejects the question, Kurapika doesn't emote. This once again hints at how calculated Kurapika truly is. He isn't willing to make a move until he has completely assessed the situation, and has adamantly developed a game plan to address it. Once he realizes that hiding his motivation will keep him out of the Hunter exam, Kurapika quickly reveals that he is the last survivor of his clan, and that he vows to eradicate the ones responsible, the Phantom Troop. After being told that he will be throwing away his life, Kurapika replies, "I don't fear death. My only fear is that my rage will fade over time." This delivery varies considerably with that of Sasuke's. While both are determined to achieve their ambitions, Kurapika's morals provide a potential objection to this path of hatred. His ultimate goal is to murder the entire Phantom Troop, yet he looks down upon deceit and dishonor, even when those practices could provide an easy solution to any problems he might encounter, such as this interrogation. Conversely, Sasuke's ethics are ambiguous. He has no other noteworthy passions or principles.
No, he doesn't seem to show any kind of like nice
the man who exterminated his
clan.
And his dialogue hints at the idea that Sasuke will act immorally in order to fulfill this objective. These two scenes make a strong counter-argument to the notion that authors working in a visual-based medium should follow the rule of show, don't tell. Exposition is an important part of any story, and one of the most effective ways to learn about new people is through their dialogue. Actions are important, but instead of avoiding exposition altogether, artists should focus on how they can better integrate exposition into the story when it's necessary. If you want to see another example of exposition done well, check out Digibro's videos on Zenkyo no Terror. Now that we've established their differences, let's widen the gap between Sasuke and Kurapika's character arcs. Not through their actions yet, though. Instead, I want to focus on the purpose of their enemies as a plot device. In the aforementioned exposition, we learned that Sasuke is after one man, whereas Kurapika is after an entire group. Masashi Kishimoto sets up Sasuke to be a simple kid with a one-dimensional goal, whereas Yoshihiro Togashi makes Kurapika a multifaceted character with an evolving goal. I'm not saying that Sasuke isn't a complex character, and I'll get back to that idea in a bit, but as a plot device, Sasuke's room to develop in the confines of his arc is much more restricted than that of Kurapika. While Kurapika can and will score victories over members of the Phantom Troop, Sasuke can't defeat Itachi. When Kurapika kills Uvogen during the Yorknu arc, his journey isn't over.
No.
There are still 12
He's
other
still
members
gotta
of the
keep
troop
going.
to deal with. Kurapika's end goal will remain intact until he either eliminates the troop entirely, suffers a drastic change in his ideology, or dies. When Sasuke kills Itachi, his journey is over.
If that's it,
his
yeah.
goal has been realized. After that, Kishimoto needed to either remove Sasuke from the story or make him adapt. Kishimoto chose the latter, but to do that, Sasuke needed a new goal. In Hunter x Hunter,
So then he needs to learn the
Kurapika can
truth.
adapt and maintain the same goal, only because that goal can keep evolving along with him. If Sasuke were pursuing the entire Akatsuki instead of just Itachi, he could do the same. But that was never Kishimoto's intention for the character. Many Naruto fans were upset by Sasuke's sudden character shift following Itachi's death, but that is a direct result of Sasuke's limited room for growth. Because Sasuke couldn't adapt during his quest to kill Itachi, he isn't prepared for the barrage of new information that comes to light. While Kurapika was sprinting down a winding road, Sasuke had been running in a straight line that led him to a brick wall.
Wow.
He makes a rash decision because he lacks knowledge or experience. It's as if he had been writing with his right hand all of his life, but after breaking that hand, he now has to write a 100-page essay in a different language
interesting,
with his left hand. He makes a mistake because it's nigh impossible for him not to make one. Hunter x Hunter's Yorkdew arc actually provides a similar experience for Kurapika. Around the arc's halfway point, the entire troop appears to be dead. At first, this sends Kurapika into a brief depression. His life's ambition is suddenly ripped away, and he is left with nothing to show for it. Because he was able to form meaningful connections, however, it looks like Kurapika would have bounced back if given the time to do so.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, the troop isn't really dead, so that idea dies before it can actually take shape. But it does answer the question of how Kurapika would fare in a situation that parallels Sasuke's plight at the start of the Great Ninja
Yeah, that's
War.
interesting. Yeah, we get to see a
Kurapika
glimpse of
supported
what
his
he would do.
friends, and that allowed him to find solace in a world where he couldn't avenge the Kurta clan. Sasuke abandoned his friends, so he has no one to guide him through his crisis. Connections play a large role in both works as a whole, but they really do create a night and day difference between Sasuke and Kurapika. Most of Sasuke's defining moments, like his decision to leave Konoha, his fight with Itachi, and his attack on Konoha, are based on the exclusion of his peers, while the conclusion of the Yorkdew arc is drastically altered by the inclusions of Gon, Killua, and Leorio. After they are taken hostage, Gon and Killua cooperate with the Phantom Troop when they could easily escape, simply because they don't want Kurapika to kill anyone. In the end, Kurapika chooses his friends over his goal in one of my favorite climaxes to a shonen arc. An end achieved through words instead of war.
So
Not a
good.
single ounce of blood is shed in the final exchange of the arc. And while Pakunoda does die at the end, that's only because she chose to break the agreement between herself and Kurapika for the sake of her
Yeah, Kurapika doesn't
comrades.
actually like.
In Hunter x Hunter, war and murder are generally a last resort,
Yeah.
and even then,
Very
they're
good,
never glorified. I can point you to the Chimera Ant arc for the most extreme example of Hunter x Hunter's take on war and bloodshed, but even Kurapika's fight with Uvogin highlights the character's hatred for torture. Compare that to Naruto, where the final arc is the Great Ninja War. In Naruto, violence is used as a tool to achieve peace. Characters gain a greater understanding of one another through their battles with each other. I'm not saying that Naruto praises murder, but it doesn't completely condemn it either.
Right.
Neither of these characters made the top 10 list that I'm working on, but I do appreciate the journeys that each character went through. In the realm of fighting, however, Kishimoto's flaws as a writer are brought to the forefront. I like Sasuke as a character, but the overpowered nature of the Sharingan definitely brings down my opinion of his role in the story as a whole. I enjoyed his final fight with Naruto,
Yeah, it's great.
but that mostly comes from the parts where they're just beating the hell out of each other.
It's
It's a hell of
cool
a
to watch,
sequence,
yeah.
but I couldn't help but tune out during the middle bit with all of the superpowers. In that regard, Kurapika is a far more interesting character.
Yeah.
He may be able to use his Scarlet Eyes to gain access to all 6 paths of the Nen system, but the entire application of Nen is a give-and-take sequence. Kurapika can essentially cheat the Nen system using his Scarlet Eyes, but in exchange, he can only use the strength of those abilities against members of the Phantom Troop. He's a monster when he fights against the troop, but he wouldn't
can't,
stand a chance if he was pitted against any of the royal guards of the Chimera Ant arc,
No, he
let
wouldn't, yeah.
alone Meruem. Yes, that also means that Sasuke would destroy him in a fight, so if that's why you're here, you can leave now. If you enjoyed this video
Sure,
and
you
want
won't be able
to
to
see
use
more
any of
like
these
it,
techniques against
share it
Sasuke,
around.
really.
Spread word of my beaming brilliance across the internet, and together we can take over. If my
Yay.
garish genjutsu skills haven't sold you on shilling for me, maybe I can convince you to catch my previous Naruto creation by clicking the card on the right. I've run out of
Oh, no, there's no
alliteration,
cards.
so I'm calling it a day. Thanks for watching, and keep on YouTubing.
Cool. Very good. See, like, yeah, there's similarities, but their journeys were different. And, yeah, the way they deal with stuff, different. Like, I like both characters. I mean, he's right, though. I never really thought about it. I always thought, like, why is Kurapika not in the Chimera arc? But it makes complete sense, doesn't it? Like, he wouldn't be able to do anything, because he can only use his techniques against the Phantom Troop. That's his whole, like, Nen, like, thing, innit? Like, as soon as if he uses his technique against anybody else, he would die. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense now. Why didn't I think of that? I'm so dumb. Which I'm sure a lot of you will. Let me know. But yeah, I like that. And then I do believe he's done. So that was Sasuke and Kurapika, a thematic breakdown. Let me look at my list. Yeah, there's a Gon versus Goku thematic breakdown, which I think we'll check out next. I like these interesting character discussion videos. They're pretty cool. I like to mix up these with the comedy ones, and you know, every day, if there's a serious video, there should be a funny video as well. And I think, anyway, that's what I try and do. God, I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. Yes, all you guys. Hands down. I nearly put myself in the eye then.